Hi there, Mike Wolf here. Thanks for tuning in. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how come you go to Texas to do the tax deeds? Why don't you just do them up here in Canada? And so I'm going to answer that question, and there's a number of different reasons. Firstly, in Canada, our banking system, we're doing a lot better than the American banking system. And as you probably know, during the recession, a lot of banks in the U.S. went out of business. And the other thing that's going on is a lot of the banks are selling each other notes. And I'll tell you why this is significant in a minute. But quite often, maybe somebody originated a loan with Bank of America, and then Bank of America sold that mortgage to Chase Bank, who sold it to a different bank. And quite often, because of all these notes changing hands, the bank that's registered on title isn't actually the owner of the current owner of that mortgage. So what ends up happening is, you may or may not know this, but when we buy a property at a tax deed auction, what's going to happen is all the liens are going to disappear, including the mortgages. So if the mortgage company has sold the note, for example, and they're not on title, the county's not going to know to send the registered mail to inform them that the home is going up for auction. So they're going to miss the opportunity to bail it out. Now in Canada, it's a much different situation. Our banking system is much more stable. The Canadian banks typically are not going to let a property go to auction over a few $1,000s. So they're going to go and pay the arrears on the taxes so that their mortgage doesn't get wiped out. So those are some of the main reasons. So what's going to happen is, by law, all these homes that are supposedly going to go to auction have to be advertised in the major newspapers in the big cities. So you might, in Calgary where I live, you might open the Calgary Herald that might say, have a list of all these properties going for auction, and people get very excited when they see that. So you have a whole bunch of people going to an auction where there might be just a handful at most of properties, and what ends up happening is they get bid up considerably. So what I've done is I've created teams in places like Houston, Texas, where I do most of my work, as well as San Antonio and hopefully soon Dallas. And so I've got people that can actually go bid for me at the auction. So it's just as convenient as bidding at home, if not more convenient, because I don't have to go do any of the work. I have my team go and drive by the properties for me. I've got them going to bid for me. And my students who take my tour are welcome to use my team too. So you don't have to fly down to Texas every single month. And it allows investors from all over the world to participate in this auction. So those are some of the main reasons why I'd much rather invest in Texas. Plus, as I mentioned, there's a ton of people show up at these Canadian auctions to bid on very few properties. They get bid up sometimes beyond market value. So there's not really any point in buying a property at an auction where you're buying as is and paying a premium. You want to get these properties for pennies on the dollar, or there's really no point in doing the whole process to begin with. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers your questions. And if you have any any other further questions, always feel free to comment below or send me an email. I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks so much.